Hello everybody, how's around there? Ame Gakita. Okay, today random topic we are gonna talk about the 100 well that was built in Africa by MrBeast. Okay, I mean like a lot of people will be saying like, oh, he built 100 well. Isn't that such a kind and charitable thing that he did in Africa? Well, I mean like if you actually kind of take a look, what he did is actually considered a good thing in terms of like able to provide water with a kind of like a scattered thing in Africa because of the dry condition or because of there is no clean water in the nearby river or whatsoever. So along the line, it's like him building a well is actually considered a good thing. If you actually consider like in terms of the ways, it's actually water well is actually considered one of the good things, and actually more towards the point of like it can be considered with many benefit and compared to the con. But today we are gonna say and put up the skill, so you guys are gonna listen to me, an old man with the long-winded nagging way of saying a lot of everything. So what you guys have to understand is that today we'll be looking at both sides of the coin, look the pro and the con, and then you guys will decide, is MrBeast really helping Africa or is he actually destroying Africa? So with that being said, we are going to point out a few things. So basically what he had did is actually building out a well, and in regard is that what kind of well are we looking into is that he himself actually stated in his own video is that what he did was to dig a hole using a huge machine, and that machine is actually to dip into the hole into the underground, to tap into the underground water in Africa. So basically what based on his video, well actually other than these apps, is that what you guys have to understand that in his video there is something along the line like where was it again? How to okay, in regard is that what he mentioned the goal is that he's using to tap into the underground water, where it's actually stated of using the aquifer which contain the drinking water for them. So by digging down into the underground where it contains the underground water, it's actually more towards the point that he's actually tapping into the underground down in the ground where there is a floating water for the people to get the so-called drinking water. So in regard is that it's actually considered a good thing because the water in regard is that what we are saying is that water will have many benefits. I know some people is going to say, it's contain one, it contains the water for which can be considered safe and reliable for drinking, cooking, washing or whatsoever. And it's also at the same time reduce the risk, because if you actually look at if you guys actually took the time to look at the video other than these stupid apps that I'm actually going to just skip and don't step into that. But oh well, I mean like in regard is that he's stepping in so-called underground water. But the one thing that actually kind of like he mentioned in his video is that the river nearby somewhere is that the water is not clean at all, and people have to go and collect the water themselves. So often more than not, the water can end up not being like not so-called drinkable and can be a lot of along the line of like very unsafe for drinking. So tapping underground water can be kind of like considered energy efficiency, because one thing is that the people can choose not to go to the river or to the place to get water to do whatever. And based on the image earlier, I mean like based off the video itself, from how I look at it, is that at least better than, I mean like if people don't need to spend their energy and time to go and collect the water, so it's like time save, energy save, cost wise I think it's also safe because they are tapping into the underwater. I mean I look at the river, it's so dirty. So yeah, I mean like I can see why the people digging a well might be the so-called the best option. So is he really doing a good thing? Yeah, in terms of helping the humanity in Africa, yes, what he did is actually considered a very good thing. It helped people, because at the same time in terms of like any other option like water pipe or water truck or whatsoever, it actually kind of like water well might be considered, yes, that's the best way to go. Because at the same time, if you actually make use of that, those young children, if you look at the video, is that at least they don't need to use that time to go and collect water. They can just now they can switch on the water and the water just came out. And the best part is they can use that time to study and get better education. But on the other hand, we have to kind of like, yeah, water will have its own challenge and whatsoever. And in turn of everything, that's when when using water well, it can be a problem. So I mean like if you guys actually need to understand, water well actually, yes, is that into the part of like tapping into the aquifer, and then they drop the water. So basically in terms of like I know some people will be like going along the line like, yeah, isn't water well considered a good thing? But if you actually go and search it out on water well, what you guys have to understand that water well is more towards the part of like you tapping rainwater, and that there is a problem with that. So tapping underground water, is that it actually making use of something along the line like using water that is floating down the land. And that the thing is, right, you have to understand that water flow from rain that actually fall into the land. And if in Africa, the one thing is that you don't find rain that easily. It's considered most of the dry place. And actually, most of the funny thing is that as I was doing research, I was actually coming across quite a few so-called images. Like I was actually kind of like surprised to see that, yeah, not very much of a greenery place in Africa. So yeah, I can see why not having a well might be considered a best option to go. Like I know a lot of people say like, oh, so putting a well is actually a good thing. Yeah, when you actually consider all the benefit, yeah, and almost I mean like even when you go and search out on Google, it's like a nearly endless supply of water, cost efficiency, and then you'll find and say a long lifespan of around average 13 to 15 years. Oh. Well, the thing is, right, what you have to understand is that depending on the region that the well is being dug out from, underwater well doesn't mean a good thing, because you guys have to understand that when you actually search it out on image, what you mean is you need to understand that water well is to dig underground water, and that the image all towards the point like the question would be underground. When you search underground water, what happened when there is no more water? That is called dry out. Because if you actually search it out on the well towards the point of like, yeah, having an underground water can be considered a good thing, but when the water is actually more towards like floating up to down, you know, that's a problem when the water is not flowing at all, and that is when we say it dry out. The lifespan has reached. So yeah, the thing is, right, here's the problem. Right now the water is provided to almost 500,000, and that we wouldn't know how much the water is able to be provided based on the average timeline that if we are using the based off the amount stating that, yeah, maybe around 30 to 50 years. Not looking good if you actually look at the amount of people saying like, yeah, 30 50 years, maybe, just maybe, during this period they can come up with other solution. But the question would be, is it really? Because you have the, okay, I mean like you guys will be like, what, around 30 50? I mean like that is like a very very long years. Yes, it's a very very long years. Now listen carefully. Right now Africa have, so, apparently, let's say that there is 100 well that is provided drinking water to the village, and if some of the well provide up to 100 years or beyond, that's good. But what if there is no proper maintenance, or the underground water dry out? What happened? The question would be like, the water only can provide on average 30 to 50 years, sometimes less, sometimes more, can be over 100 at time, can be also less than 100 or maybe less than 10 years in time. So what I meant to say is that water well at most that MrBeast right now have provided, the so-called provided to the people of Africa, is considered a short-term solution. It does not mean a long-term solution. I know a lot of people is like, oh, but at least provide water. Yes, the thing is, right, you have to understand what is called long-term situation. Long-term situation is more towards the point that if within this period of time there is another alternative is not being think out of, then yeah, that's not looking good. So in the sense that if right now what the people of Africa is not coming out with is coming out with an alternative to water belt, is basically making use of this moment to build water pipe or ensuring water truck or whatsoever adding up. But and I mean like just providing the actual drinking water to the people of Africa, yeah, sooner or later the water underground will be dry out. Water don't flow every single time. I know like a lot of people are gonna share like, oh, internet saying that 70% of the water of the earth is actually covered in water, until when you realize that only 1% of that is actually drinking water. 1% or a few percent is less. So you can't go to the sea and just drink seawater because it's full of salt, and salt water can actually cause you to be more dehydrated. So the thing is, right, well, actually the aquifer actually more towards the point like it does act as a filtrator to remove additional stuff and making sure that the water flow in the underground is considered so-called pure. But at the same time, we actually consider that what underwater well can cause a lot of can actually cause more issue. And like I mentioned, the water underwater is actually what you guys have to understand, that underground water is not just meant for drinking only. If you build a well on it and you use the and you take it out for drinking water, good. But here's the problem. What happened when it dry out? The one thing what you guys understand that many places like forests or plant, they actually have their root go all the way down, and that all the way down is for them to, I mean like if anyone who study plant will understand that the underground water is where most plant absorb the moisture for them to grow and for them to like so-called stay. So if what MrBeast is providing that same water to the people of Africa, not only is that the plant is or the environment is competing for the water, the one thing that although right now there is no significant damage to the environment, well, it might consider can be what happened when there is a overconsumption of water before the damage start appearing. What does that mean? Well, actually, based on I was doing some research along the line, like, yeah, let me see, where was it again? Benefit cause upgrade. Oh yes, though I can't remember where I left it. Damn it. And well, actually, more towards the point, like, oh yes, there is also water contamination and stuff, which more we'll talk about it. But where was it again? Yeah, I actually did it. Oh yes, it was the one that dried out, the so-called the dry out. Okay, I think I actually kind of deleted it. Okay. So in regards to what you guys have to understand, that is many reasons when so-called what happened if your well dry out along the line. It's like there is many things along the line, like water is drawn using the pipe system, and what based on the image that is shown on MrBeast video is that they pump up the water up, so that from underground. Like they pump the water up from underground, and the pump will be actually for in a sense is that provide water to the people of Africa. So if you actually go by that idea that if people drink too much of the underground water, like imagine like the underground water is gone, there is quite a few concern that is gonna happen because the water is gonna be finished. Because the thing is like imagine what happens if there is emptiness. So if you actually look at how sinkhole is like if you guys know about sinkhole, yeah, basically it's the similar like what you guys have to understand is that how can what was it again? How do sinkhole form? Yep, I mean like don't need to worry. I'll just kind of put up the main point for you guys to understand is that sinkhole is more towards the point of may not give any warning and the collect usually collect gradually. And oh yeah, it was right over there. Over withdrawal of groundwater. And during new water well. So for all the creative people, congratulations! Here's your point for making sure that yeah, what MrBeast is definitely destroying the whole environment of Africa. Oh no, there's gonna be a huge loss from MrBeast fan. Is it really true or not? I do not know. But the thing is that this research indicate that what MrBeast had did is more towards about is destroying the environment. 100 well for the people of, in exchange for providing drinking water for the people of Africa, his in regard is that he's actually maybe considered as destroying the environment because what he did is that although it's considered cost efficiency and energy efficiency, at the same time for the environment, like I mean like again like I mentioned, what happened when the water is gone. So what you have to understand is that based off the image, imagine that just imagine based off the image that what happened when this whole water is gone. What overconsumption of water is actually mean on the reason that if people over drink or over consumption or over make use or consuming the water, basically just make sure that the water is all used up before nature can return the water, then you have to understand that's going to leave a huge hole there. So that's the reason why there is something along the line like yeah, we need to have people who help to maintain the water, because if people don't maintain the water, looking good, because the water will like I don't think the water's lifespan like over here when we were looking along like 30-50 years, I don't think, maybe 10 years maybe all gone. So what happened when the water did dry out? It can be dry out. So when that happens, when there is a huge hole, the weight might not be like there is a huge hole underground, something has to cover up that hole. And basically a sinkhole. So a sinkhole is more towards the point when something just sink down. So when if in the future when there is something along the line of sinkhole start appearing, it won't happen right now, but in future we won't be able to show. So right now you have take it with a pinch of salt because sinkhole can take years to form. But when it does happen, what you guys have to understand that yes, over withdrawal of groundwater or during new water well can actually cause harm. And with MrBeast building 100 well, Africa might be sinking or maybe full of sinkhole one day. And what you guys have to understand that actually what actually shocked me as I was doing research on that, I know earlier I kind of messed up a little bit, but understand one thing is that what you have to understand is that based off some research, taking water from the ground can actually unload fault and trigger tremor. What does that mean? Well, let me explain to you. Basically, in near future, when the underwater is all gone, underground water is all being consumed up, there will be a huge earthquake in Africa. Let that sink in. Understand? No, understand? So basically what you gotta understand one thing is that yes, what you might not be aware is that based off some research, well, not entirely sure is it true or not, what researcher had kind of understand is that human can cause earthquake by injecting fluid into the ground. which is called hydraulic functioning, but at the same time pumping water out of the, like, basically pumping water out of underground aquifer can also set off earthquake. Although not taken much attention, what you guys have to understand that what MrBeast may cause is that he's actually building well that is drawing out water, and like I mentioned, he's removing we are technically removing water from the underground. The same water that is meant to cushion the earthquake. So what happened is that when you remove that water that is meant to cushion the earthquake, yeah, you are going to have a hole or a gap in there. And like I mentioned, not only will sinkholes start appearing, basically what is going to happen is that there will be a more devastating earthquake. So is it considered a good thing in terms of environment? I mean, like, when we actually look at the whole situation, yeah, I mean, like, people will be going along the line, hey, but MrBeast did along the good thing. I mean, like, he's helping to ensure that people is drinking healthy water to improve their health and hygiene, and also at the same time it's also considered that providing more water for the people, and that they can use the water to maybe go and fix their livestock and crop, and then they can have better food. But when you actually, in terms of the long-term year down the line, that tapping into the underground water can cause potential future sinkhole and earthquake. Well, he's looking like an angel at the moment, but in the future, can Africa be sure that they will still worship MrBeast like an angel? Because the one thing is that what you guys have to understand that when people start realizing that the tapping into the underground water is also gonna be the reason why earthquake gonna appear in future generation of Africa or sinkhole appearing, yeah, not looking good. I mean, like, at the moment right now, what you have to understand is that maintenance of water is a must. What does that mean? They have to ensure, because what MrBeast did is he provide a machine to build into to tap into the underground to provide water. Yes, that's number one, a good thing. But the question would be, will people help to maintain that same machine or the same water pipe to ensure that the underground water will be safe to drink, or at least ensuring that the well won't dry out? Because if you actually look, like I mentioned again, the well can dry out in the future, and that there is another thing that I almost I know kind of like show you, but at the same time not show you at the same time, is that what you have to understand that water contamination is a possibility. What does that mean? Underground water may contain bacteria, virus, parasite, we stated here, and that sometimes chemical fertilizer and human sewage or animal waste and fertilizer can penetrate into the groundwater and run into the aquifer, meaning to say that those things can be formed into the water. Heavy metal and other stuff can also be found in the well itself. So although providing water through the people is a good thing, when no one is taking or maintaining and ensuring that the groundwater is safe for consumption, in future the same underground water may end up being a poison water like in the river. So it's a very, very dangerous thing if people don't take notice of that. So which is the reason why maintenance of the underground water is a must, which means that they need to ensure that there is someone helping out to ensuring like the underground water is safe to be consumption at all time. Secondly would be, along like I mentioned, that how will people overcome consumption the water? Again, like I mentioned, when the underwater is being overconsumption, over withdrawal to be exact, or people start using the machine to dig out more well, yeah, not gonna be a very good thing. I mean, like, I was looking into quite a lot of things, and what you guys have to understand that MrBeast actually, I mean, like, based off some of the image, some of the video part when I was looking, is that he's building on quite a few places. I mean, like, he's quite, I mean, like, up to 100 places, but at most of the places, if you actually look at some of the places that he built, it is also quite, I know that a lot of people say like it's not quite that much, but at some part of Africa that he's building, the well is actually pretty near to the force line, and also at the same time, what MrBeast might be doing is actually not is both helping Africa people, but at the same time increasing the harm of Africa people. So the groundwater that was technically meant for the nature, for the environment, as well as to cushion the environment from future dangerous earthquake. Yeah, I mean, like, it can be a problem if people start drinking too much water. And I mean, like, with a lifespan of up to average of 30 years or 50 years, yeah, I mean, like, to me, right now, what you guys have to understand is that the people of Africa, or maybe the people of from MrBeast team, is to ensure that the underground water is to be like able to be stable to provide drinking water to the people of Africa in a stable period. Because if consider that Africa is I mean, like, when I was actually looking at the vegetation of Africa, yeah, Africa is quite a very dry place, I would say. But the thing is that you have to understand is that what happened when you remove most of the water from the underground by the people of Africa. Although, I mean, like, people say, oh, right now it's 1 year, 2 years, there is nothing happen. Can you say the same thing 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line, 20 years, 30 years? What happened when the well dried out? That is when things start to be a little bit iffy. So I mean, like, it can be a very, very dangerous sign in the future. Not now, but in the future. So what you guys might have to understand is that, yeah, MrBeast might be actually helping the people of Africa. That's a good thing. We have to clap. We have to say that what MrBeast is doing is a very good thing. Yeah. But a potential future devastation of the environment, yeah, that's a little bit questionable. I mean, like, for him who actually go to the point of creating video on saving the environment, it can be a problem, because considering that you guys have to understand that in his video he mentioned 500,000 Africa is gonna drink the water. How sure are we that the underground water is enough to provide for the year to come? 10 years, 20 years, maybe. But can you say 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, 100 years? Can you be so sure that the environment is able to replenish the underground water? You guys have to understand one thing. Underground water is not filled up all the time. It takes years and time, a long period of time for the water. And consider that Africa is not a very rainy place. Very, very questionable way of ensuring that the underground water might be enough to provide for the long run. So I won't be surprised if in the future they actually saying that out of 100 well, maybe the number of well will start drying out. And the one thing is that you have to understand 100 well is quite a huge amount of number, and that if they are going to in future, if what some consider like climate change is happening and was on, and that if you remove all the underground water, and that if there is no way to refill that water back, yeah, sinkholes start appearing, earthquake start happening, that would be a whole new different story. But hey, I mean, like, it's just speculation and just based off research and whatsoever. So it, in a sense, it's just a theory. I don't know. I mean, like, you guys can take my word with a huge spin also. Just put. I mean, like, if you want to fret, don't worry. The below comment for you to go and fret. Like, hey, MrBeast, what he did something good. Or maybe if you don't like MrBeast, hey, MrBeast did something wrong. I don't know. Let you guys go and have fun. But with that being said, if you do like this kind of video and yeah, don't forget to press the like button if you do like it. I mean, like, it just kind of like two sides. I mean, like, you have to understand that MrBeast, he did, in terms of skill, he saved the people. He helped to provide drinking water to the people of Africa. The countermeasure will be potential future environment damage. So, which is the best? You guys just write in the comment below too on what do you guys think. Is he really helping Africa or is he destroying Africa? Let me know. Maybe we can discuss this in future. Based on how you guys feel. I mean, like, I know it's a very long video, but you have to understand that. Yeah, it's kind of iffy because it's really, this is really questionable thing that in terms of solution. I mean, like, if you guys even have a better solution, also write in the comment below. Let me know because I'm really in touch. Like, when MrBeast showed that 100 well, I was like, yeah, what he did is a very good thing, but at the same time, you guys have to understand. Good intention might end up in bad result. And does that gonna happen to what this video happened when MrBeast built on 100 well? I don't know. You guys go and write in the comment. Let me know. But if not, just press the like button and let me know if you do like this kind of thing. And also consider subscribing to my channel. I mean, like, where every time I don't follow a single trend when I talk in my random check. But hey, today is just a little bit of speculation and theory. But at the same time, it's more towards scaling of, is MrBeast really doing the right thing or is he actually destroying the Africa? I don't know. But the one thing I can do know is, oh, you have a nice day or night. Bye.